Quick to adapt, we pivoted on a pinhead with agility and resilience. We thrived in the face of adversity, dug deep, converted obstacles into opportunities, and emerged with an invigorated mindset and a new resolve. And, as we've always done throughout our history as a profession, we harnessed that resilient spirit and passed it on to members, students, employers, global economies, and society as a whole. Out of disruption and chaos, we did what we always do. We led. We were influential advocates for COVID-19 relief and economic recovery across the globe, becoming the go-to resource for news, tools, guidance, and learning. We rolled out the CGMA Finance Leadership Program globally, a new online pathway to the CGMA designation, and launched remote testing of CIMA qualification exams for the first time. And we introduced new learning resources and tools on data analytics, digital strategy, and managing risk, shifting all CPD events to virtual platforms to prepare members to be future ready. We also ramped up our support for environmental, social, and governance reporting and assurance and risk mitigation, central issues to the profession's future role. On the jobs front, we posted nearly 1.3 million positions in the US, the UK, Europe, Asia, and Africa on the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants Global Career Hub. And as always, we kept our focus on advancing diversity, equity, and inclusion in the profession. We've brought confidence to individuals, organizations, and the world's financial systems. Our foresight and preparation helped transform our organization and the profession during this crisis. Change won't ever stop, but we can ride the momentum of this moment and create trust, opportunity, and prosperity in new, innovative ways. We were ready, we adapted, and we will continue to thrive.
Yan ang panga-ngasim.
Ang kiliti sa panga mula sa crunchy asim ng Oishi Cracklings.
Asim! Sarap! Panga-ngasim Oishi Cracklings.
If symptoms persist, bili na sa sukang tindahan.
Paano maging
hot? Mag-spicy Oishi prawn crackers. Just feel it, flex it, and fire it up. Ba't ka mahihiya when you're hot? Spicy Oishi prawn crackers. Itodo ang hotness.
Nilamon ng kakanood magdamag, lumamon ng Oishi crispy patata na lamunin mo sa sarap. May something.
Some transactions, like big cash deposits, can't be done online or through the ATM, so you really need to go to the bank. In these cases, you need to be in and out as fast as you can. Introducing EasyWay, East West's expanded transaction channel, the faster way to process your transactions even before you get to the bank. Here's how. Before leaving your home for any of these transactions, simply contact us via SMS, Viber, Messenger, or email. Indicate the kind of transaction and include the necessary information. You'll receive a unique transaction reference number once confirmed. Your transaction will be ready when you get there. Simply show the transaction reference number or give your account number to the teller. You're in and out in no time, so you can spend more time for the things you want and need to do. For faster, easier transactions at any of our stores, there's an easy way.
Narito ang ilang common challenges sa pag-generate ng financial reports manually. Sa One Tax Plus, di mo na kailangang problemahin ang mga ito. Sa Sa Plus, mas madaling i-manage at i-view ang reports dahil sa mga filter na available sa platform. Maaari mo ring i-export o i-download ang reports sa iba't ibang format. At pwede mo ring i-drill down ang total at i-reclass ang mga transaction. Narito ang pwede mo pang ma-experience sa paggamit ng One Tax Plus. Ito naman
a video.
ang report na pwede mong i-generate sa platform. Easy lang, di ba? Pag in-automate ang financial reports sa One Tax Plus. Sign up na at plus.one.tax.
Hey, look up. Mark your calendars this December. The solution that lets you work anytime, anywhere, while being compliant with the Bureau. But here's the best part. It has optical character recognition. Be online all the time, whenever and wherever you like. Experience Cloud9 with Q&E Cloud Accounting.
Harvest Agribusiness Corporation was established in 1997, then as a distributor of high-quality hybrid seeds. From there, the various difficulties and challenges faced by the Filipino farmer were revealed to us, pushing our development of various products for each one. Today, our catalog of solutions include quality seeds for better productivity, agri-plastics for soil and seedling health, sustainable crop nutrition and protection inputs, climate-resilient greenhouse and irrigation systems, labor-efficient machines like tractors and drones, and many more. With 8 branches and over 100 dealers and partners throughout the Philippines, we bring these products to Filipino farmers nationwide.
What started as an institutional forum among a small group of professional accountants in 1973, the Association of Certified Public Accountants in Commerce and Industry, or ACPAC, has now turned out to be one of the respective organizations contributing to the growth of the accountancy profession in the country. Composed of CFOs, comptrollers, finance officers, chief accountants, internal auditors, and officers and staff in finance and other departments of top private corporations, ACPAC remains to be the biggest and premier organization of CPAs in commerce and industry sector, primarily serving the professional development needs of its members, as well as advancing the relevance, value, and ascendancy of the accountancy profession in order to continue to be an indispensable ally of the government in nation building. Through the years, ACPAC continues to seek and pursue effective ways of advancing and upgrading the professional development of professional accountants in the commerce and industry sector through seminars, training, discussions, research, and dynamic exchange of knowledge among its members. ACPAC assists its members in addressing common problems in accounting, information system, business finance, administration, and management, and help them render sound, effective business decisions. ACPAC promotes high professionalism and adherence to established ethical standards in the performance of services and responsibilities. ACPAC creates for its members an environment of learning, social relevance, and fellowship.
Accountancy has been acknowledged as the driver of all economic enterprises and accountants, the recognized guardians of business and industry. Where there is money, commerce, business, and financial transactions, there is the practice of accountancy. Any fully functional business, say a posh hospital, a humble school, an expansive construction empire, will all have one thing in common: an accountant at their service. That makes us at PICPA the all-important flowing oil that grease all the gears of the economy of our country. We are PICPA, the Philippine Institute of Certified Public Accountants.
Good morning. We would like to thank our sponsors for supporting this event. Co-presenter, PICPA Metro Manila Geographical Office, PICPA Metro Manila Region, Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, Oishi, oh wow, Liwayway Marketing. Our gold sponsors, BOPI Manufacturing Corporation, East West Bank, One Tax. Silver sponsors, AB Squared Institute of Accounting Philippines, Boys and Paint Philippines Inc., Court Meridian Hotel and Suites, Subic Bay, Clio International Marketing Corporation, Nutritive Snacks Foods Corporation, Progressive Poultry Supply Corporation, QNE Software Philippines, Seabass Carriers Inc., TOA Global. Our bronze sponsors, Asian Institute of Taxation, Harvest Agribusiness Corporation, Strategic Dimension Co. We would like to inform everyone that there is a career fair corner in the WUVA platform where you can visit job postings and job offerings with our sponsors. All the video presentation in this summit can be accessed within 3 months period from the date of publication here at WUBA platform. So you can watch it over and over again using the link we provided you in joining this summit. We would also like to inform everyone that you will earn a total of 15 CPD units from this summit, or 1.5 CPD units per session. We will issue you a certificate of attendance to support your application for CPD, but you must pre-register. This is one that you accomplish through Google Form. We would just like to request you to make sure that the person who is registered in Google Form is the one attending the webinar. Next, answer the pre and post test. The links will be posted in the chat box later. Accomplish the post-evaluation survey through Google Form that we will launch after the closing remarks to entitle you to a certificate of attendance. We would also like to remind everyone to please observe proper etiquette when joining the sessions, especially the following. First, there should be no sharing of webinar materials. Second, use the Q&A chat box for your questions. And third, there should be no personal advertisement that should be posted in the chat room. Your compliance is greatly appreciated. As mentioned earlier, one of the requirements for you to completely earn the CPD units is your participation by answering the pre-test. You can find the link in our chat box. Please answer the pre-test now. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. The Philippine Institute of Certified Public Accountants, Commerce and Industry Sector, Association of CPAs in Commerce and Industry, Metro Manila Geographical Area Office, Metro Manila Region, Committee on SMPs, SMEs, and Professional Development welcomes everyone to Session 1 of the PICPA Nationwide Business and Career Summit with the theme, Play It Forward, Securing a Sustainable Future. I am Carlota de Gula Iremedio, and I will be your Master of Ceremonies in this morning and afternoon session. As we start this significant event, which is another milestone in the history of PICPA, may we request everyone to please rise for the invocation and lift up to the Lord all our intentions.
Most gracious God, our Heavenly Father, we thank you for gathering us today to celebrate another milestone. We are aware that we could not see this incredible success come to fruition without the individual purpose you have put in each person present here today. Thank you for bringing us together to accomplish this remarkable feat for your glory. Bestow your grace and divine wisdom to all of us. Remind us of your faithful provision when our efforts fall short. And may all glory go up to you when you reach the finish line and climb over success. Please help us to find the guiding light for all we set out to accomplish and triumph. Grant us courage and perseverance to work together in achieving our organizational goals by demonstrating our personal and collective best. As the pandemic continues to challenge the way we operate, guide us, Lord, in bringing new approaches that will require changes in our mindsets and attitudes. Remind us always to abide by the right values and observe and comply with responsible business practice, one that is transparent, empowering to teams, and providing learning and growth opportunities for everyone. Continue, Lord, to motivate us to serve our stakeholders well, that through our efforts and sound and relevant advice, we enable businesses to succeed and reach their potential, to contribute positively to the community. May all of us have a clear sense of our purpose, driven not only by strategy, but by our fundamental belief that in everything we should do what is right, because our work is a blessing from you, Lord, and how we use this blessing is our service to you and others. All glory and honor to you, our Lord and Savior. Amen.
To formally open, warmly welcome us to this summit, may I call on the chairperson of SME and SMP's Development Committee, PICPA, Ms. Jacqueline Villar, to deliver her welcome remarks.
Thank you lots. A very pleasant morning to all our speakers, program participants, fellow PICPANs, and the dignitaries in this room. We have today PICPA National President, Mr. Erwin Alcala, PICPA VP Commerce and Industry, Ms. Lolita Tang, MMR Chair, Ms. Leticia Tagle, and ACPAC President, Mr. Apat Martinez. In a 2020 report by the Philippine Statistics Authority, micro, small, and medium enterprises, including small and medium practitioners, accounted for 99.51% of all the businesses in the Philippines and contributed to a total of 62.66% of all jobs created and 35.7% of value added. So this highlights the importance of the MSME and the SMEs to the Philippine economy and the role of what they play in shaping the business landscape. This is also the reason why the PICPA National Office and various committees and chapters in collaboration with ACPAC has dedicated an entire day in this summit for SMEs and SMPs. Day 3 of the PICPA Nationwide Business and Career Summit is hosted by the PICPA SME and SMP Development Committee. So you will see a lot of us in this program from the hosts are in here in this program. Our program highlights the PICPA National Team play it forward, securing a sustainable future while underscoring the ABCs of entrepreneurship. A discussion on the regulatory requirements and business strategies that CPAs can employ to become successful entrepreneurs. We have invited Mayani and Comunidad, these two enterprises making strides in using technology for good. And of course, we have PNA Grant Thornton to share insights on protecting you and your business in a digital world. Our talks are specifically geared toward your needs and concerns as small and medium enterprises and practitioners. For those who are joining only today, you will notice that we are running this event through the WUVA event platform. In this platform, you can connect with fellow attendees, participate in the exhibits and sponsors tabs. Feel free to explore and enjoy the platform. If you have questions or technical difficulties, do reach to the event organizers. Again, a very warm welcome to day 3 of the PICPA Nationwide Business and Career Summit. We hope you make the most of the day. Over to you, Lots.
Thank you, Miss Jackie. Moving on to our technical session 1. We will now proceed to a roundtable discussion with the topic, Sustainable Business Through Technology. To introduce our panelists, may I call on the chairperson of ACFASI and secretary of SMP and SMEs Development Committee, Ms. Marjorie Atrenza Cruz, who will also be the moderator of our roundtable discussion.
Thank you, Lots, and good morning, everyone. We are now in day 3 of our PICPA Nationwide Business and Career Summit. For our morning session, we will be joined by 2 gentlemen who I consider as men of passion and purpose. Our first guest speaker is Felix Aike. He is the Chief Executive Officer and founder of Comunidad, a Singapore, Philippine-based climate data and analytics software company. His global expertise spans over 15 years of providing solutions to environmental critical industries within the Asian region, including his experience working with environmental and weather agencies, Meto Group, New Zealand Government Met Service, and Earth Networks. He is currently active in Southeast Asia, empowering governments and private sectors to leverage environmental intelligence to help adapt to our rapidly changing environment and enable these organizations to start taking climate action. To talk about sustainability, climate change, and Comunidad, let's all welcome Mr. Felix Aike.
Hello, hi, good morning, everyone, and good morning to the PICPA organization and also the participants, the sponsors of this event. So, as mentioned, I am here to talk about mostly climate change topic and how it is important for the businesses now. Just to give you a background, Comunidad is, we actually started from Legazpi City, Albay. Legazpi City, Albay is really, an area which is very vulnerable to climate change. So we started from Bicol region, and now we are a portfolio company of ADB Ventures and Wavemaker Partners in Singapore. Our main office is now in Singapore. We have businesses also in India, Vietnam, Cambodia, and especially Philippines. So we have expanded globally. We are now a global company. And the focus of our company is to help companies manage climate risks, especially within Asia, and of course, to start building a low carbon future. Later on, I'll give you some of the, this information. So we are a software company. As mentioned, we are now serving, the biggest cities in Metro Manila and also states in India. And we are serving also financial industries, energy sector, agriculture, and a lot more. So recently, we also got awarded global grants to scale climate change solutions in many areas in the Philippines, like in Siargao, in Camarines Norte, Calaguas Island, and these areas are the most vulnerable areas in the Philippines. So our business is actually based on providing tools for climate change. Later on, I'll explain all this in detail and how it's important for PICPA members to know about these topics about climate change. So basically, as a company, we were successful in using technology to build climate decision support tools. So let's say if I'm a area in the Philippines and I cannot afford to build a command center, I can just subscribe online and I can get all the resilience tools that I need. You don't have to spend $1 million. You don't have to spend, millions of pesos in order for you to be climate resilient. And at the same time, if you want to start doing carbon reduction, then you can also use the tools, for you to prepare for a low carbon future. So that's what we do. And my topic for today is about sustainability and ESG and strengthening climate resilience. I know most of you are familiar with this topic, but for me, I just want to highlight the details of these topics. And let's start first from, like, what's the climate change scenario in the Philippines. So in summary, in one screen, you can see that we have two sections when we're talking about climate change. We have climate mitigation and we have climate adaptation. So in short, the meaning of mitigation is we want to address the root cause. So why is it that we're having a lot of stronger typhoons now? We have changes of temperature. So it's actually a global problem. And the thing now is everyone needs to contribute to that global problem to solve, and to avoid the disruptions in the future. Meaning mitigation is reduction of carbon emissions, and it's actually a complex topic, but I'm just, summarizing it. And adaptation is meaning, Philippines has been, part of this adaptation. So we have 20 typhoons every year. So we know the effects already of this of climate change because deep in our hearts, we are already suffering from it from, the very start. However, the Philippines, we only contribute 0.31% of the emissions in the world. So the thing is, the Philippines only share a very minimal emissions, right? But we are one of the most affected country from the effects of climate change. So this is the real scenario. That's why the global community is giving financial aid to the Philippines because we are suffering from climate change, even we are not the main contributor. So this is the real scenario in the world. And my next topic actually would be, I think it's mostly interesting, especially for the accounting world. So in the accounting world, you do financial reporting, right? Like, but there is a thing called carbon accounting. So if you wanna maybe like add something to your career in the future, you might want to consider this because this is just a start. Well, carbon accounting is just very early. It's in its infancy stage. So the reason why I'm telling you this, this can be integrated to what you are doing, so that we'll have a more inclusive and better world in the future. So yeah, carbon accounting is a way of measuring how much greenhouse gas an organization emits. Like I said, like financial accounting, financial statements. Carbon accounting, instead, it measures the climate impact. So the carbon accounting is part of what we call the sustainability report and disclosures. So now, globally, especially for publicly listed company, kailangan meron ng sustainability reporting. And doing this is not an easy task. Just like what accountants are doing in terms of building the annual financial statements and a lot more financial reports. So you can halos same lang siya, except iba lang yung in-impact mo. But why is it very important? Because the pressure, well, in the Philippines, we haven't felt it, but for global companies, the pressure is there already. So there's a lot of investments in the sustainability area. And mostly the consumers indicate that, especially the new generation now, the new generation is very particular in the environment. So for them, sustainability is important. Based on this one, also the employees, the millennials, considers a company's social and environmental commitments is important. So mostly the employees now, they want to work in a company where there's something doing, companies doing good, right? And the government, of course, are also pressured. So sa ngayon, you cannot feel it yet, but eventually in the next 2, 3, 5 years, this will be a thing that everyone is needs to comply. And as mentioned, ano naman yung mga challenges? This is the challenges are actually opportunity for us to learn and also to get to know how climate change disclosure works. So usually we have disclosures. You can equate it similar to like an annual financial statement or maybe a monthly reporting for your financial statement. And then you report the GHG. You calculate the carbon emissions. So so the question is, how do you calculate that, right? What are the equations? How do you calculate it? Later on, I'll show you the frameworks that they use. And the reason why we need to do that is so that we know what to measure, right? So how can you say that you are complying to lower carbon emission if you don't know the baseline, right? Example, if I use electricity now, let's say my bills are like 20,000 a month in my office. But if my bill in the next year reduces to 30%, at least now you have a proof, right? You have a proof. So you have to have a baseline, and that's what you call carbon accounting. You really have to start doing a benchmark and then having a baseline so that you can achieve the decarbonization. And of course, so that you'll know what to what to reduce in the future. So as you can see, it's a very complex area. When we're talking about emissions, so anything that we do has emits carbon, right? Not really all, but the water we consume, the electricity we consume, all of the things, even your iPhone, even your Android phone, even your laptop. But we're not gonna go to that level. So here I'm just explaining that in order for you to have a proper disclosure or report, you have to measure the utility billing data, which is corrente, like fuel, gas, and the water consumption. And there's what they call Scope 1, Scope 2, Scope 3 emissions. So these are the three main categories of the emission. Scope 1 is, these are the on-site fuels. Ito yung mga direct na, let's say we consume fuels, we buy these things na nag-emit ng carbon. Ito what you call is Scope 1. Scope 2 emissions, these are the indirect. Ito yung mga, we don't have a choice, right? May kuryente, nagbabayad tayo ng bill sa kuryente. So ito yung mga Scope 2. Scope 3, these are the other factors na medyo complex, which I will not go through with it. But when we're talking about carbon accounting, there are three scopes: Scope 1, Scope 2, and Scope 3. But in order for you to have a full report, you'll also have social indicators like ano yung mga ginagawa natin para like we plant trees, may mga volunteers ba tayo na tumutulong sa pag-clean ng rivers, and all of these things. And then governance indicators. So I'll not go through with other that, but ang hirap i-measure nito eh. So that's it's like for me, I'm a business person, and until now it's very hard for me to do accounting. Like financial statement. It also be the same problem when we're talking about measuring your emission. And when we also let's say do a report for financial accounting, meron tayong mga pina-follow na standards, right? I think especially the accounting world, it's very strict. Mga banks, ganun. Same din sa climate change. We also have frameworks na pina-follow. So once you measure all your carbon emissions, example, fuel, electricity, once na-collect mo yon, meron tayong mga guidelines din. And these guidelines are usually global. So if I'm a publicly listed company, kunwari nagsusupply ako sa Europe ng mga goods, and I'm a very big company, now I cannot supply because I need to have a sustainability report. So most companies now in Europe prefer na meron ka dapat na sustainability report sa company mo before ako makipag-business sa'yo. So, and very, pa siya ngayon, very broad. So there's a lot of frameworks that you can do. And nakita nyo yung broadness niya, and this is what I call opportunity in the future. Eventually, if let's say, if as a CPA, and then I learn how to do these protocols, and then I know how to compute and those things, I can add it to my career as as an accountant with a vision of sustainability and ESG in the future. So I think these are the evolution of us in our careers to put climate change in in our career. So yeah, but how can we start this? We also first need to understand the data foundation, right? Yung pinakita ko kanina, there's a lot of variations, diba? So we have to build this data foundation. in order for us to build the report. And then after that, that's the time we make a report, right? And then when we have a report, that's the time we know what to reduce. Am I reducing? Can I reduce the aircon consumption? Can I switch to 50% solar and 50%, like traditional? So these are the things that you can already do. And then will I plant more trees so that I reduce my carbon, emission? They call it like offset. So this is how it is in the future. For now, as you can see, the issue of climate change, everyone wants to just transition from clean energy, but in the real world, in the global world, you really have to measure it first. So that's they forget about that because this is very hard to do. And when you're building the data foundation, I'll make it complex for everyone. So as you can see here, these are a lot of things that you have to measure. So ito na yung parang mga line items natin sa accounting, like staff costs, like infrastructure cost, like office billing, like something like that. So we have utility billing data, you have transport data, fuel, gases, electricity produced. Ito yung mga even air travel natin, lahat ng air travel, taxi, train, cars, waste recycling, certificates, lahat ng mga NGO work na ginagawa. So even yung mga consumption ng building, ilang space ba yung kinokonsume mo, ilang tao ba yung pumupunta sa building, and everything. Also weather data and a lot more. So as you can see, it's very complex. In order for you to have a full sustainability report, you have to consider all these factors. However, in reality, we cannot, there's only a few companies who have done this, but at least we can start starting from the very simple ones, maybe just utility billing data. We can already have a carbon accounting and then a report using just these. So we always need to have a place to start, right? So what I'm sharing to you is this is how it's being done, and and then yung like mga sa accountants, diba? We have ERP systems. We have accounting systems, iba-ibang variations, and every country also has their rules. The climate change reporting, the sustainability will also be like that in the future. So let's say you have scope 1 reporting, scope 2 reporting. It also has a lot of categories. So ito na yung, kunwari, yung company na you work, or if you have a business in the future, I want to start doing a plan going net zero. I also want to contribute to the world na yung company namin has a vision to also be sustainable in the future. But how can you prove that? You have to have, the report. So that's how it is. And what Comunidad does is, we reduce time, using templates. So example, the data that we've been collecting, we do automation. Example, if you have an ERP system, we just get that data, the data from the fuel consumption. Ito yung mga bills nyo sa kuryente sa office. If my system kayo, let's say an ERP system, you can just, kumbaga, extract that data. Usually, ini-extract yung data sa supply chain, sa procurement. So, ito yung mga accounts payables natin. Minsan, we just extract that, and then now, makakapag-create ka na ng sustainability report. And what we actually do is mostly on the emissions management. We focus first on just the simple scope muna. It's like we're just helping the company start building the data foundation. And for climate resilience, this is another section. So the first part is what I presented is mostly on another way of accounting, like we call it carbon accounting. So carbon accounting, a better carbon accounting is the key, so that you can properly analyze, you can properly comply with global standards in terms of climate mitigation. But since we are in the Philippines, we also need to focus on climate resilience. As executives in our careers, and maybe in the future we'll have our own business, we always need to consider climate resilience in the business, because before it was just a good to have, but now it's really needed. The question is, what's the difference between Pag-asa, the one you see in your apps, the one you see in Facebook, So imagine if there's a typhoon, right? So, well, as a person, you can rely on Facebook, right? Facebook, or maybe look at Pag-asa. But if you have a business, let's say you have like $5 million of cash in in every business, like you have or you have gold or something. You have these important assets, or maybe even you have kids in at their school, right? You give more importance to that location instead of like the Philippines. So if there's a typhoon, let's say going to Cebu, you wouldn't even care because you're in Mindanao, right? So the way we look at climate resilience is there's Pag-asa, there's NDRMC, but I think that's for us, it's not enough. What we need to do is focus on the impact to locations that matter to you. Example, for you, what are the locations that for me, my family, my daughter's school, my parents' location, my business location, my employees' location, and the loved ones. So these are the important things that matter to me. I need to know if the typhoon will hit, and then what's the impact of that. And it's not just typhoons. We are talking about the daily changes in weather, like ito yung mga sudden rain. So let's say if I'm in UST España, every time there's sudden rain, magbabaha na naman. So I'm really concerned about, let's say, if someone I know is studying there. So what I'm saying is we need to have a different perspective pagdating sa climate resilience. So what we do is we use these decision support tools to provide a more local approach in disaster management. Parang sa bahay mo, you have your own Pag-asa. That's how it is. And you can do it now because of technology. Before you can't, right? So the objectives of this is to strengthen the climate resilience of communities and businesses. So now we received grants, example of from Calaguas Island, so fishing area. So those fishing areas couldn't afford millions of pesos of command center. So we comunidad went there. We provided command centers, and simple lang, SMS lang yung nag-warning sa kanila na oy, don't go out yet. Okay, it's clear to go out. So ganun ka simple lang siya. And usually these tools are now available for mostly within the private sector. When you do business in the future, basically you have accounting system, you have CRM systems for sales, you have project management systems for operations, and a lot more. But eventually, you'll also have climate resilience tools in the future. It will be part of any organization, and Comunidad is in the forefront of that, especially in Asia, in Southeast Asia. And so my talk is just about showing you all the latest technologies and a different perspective sa climate change. Because I think most of us we only see climate change in the news, and then the effects, we see it because of the typhoons, but it's bigger than that. Climate change is mostly a choice. It's like a culture that if you want to accept it or not. So for us, we help companies manage the risks of climate, especially we are in the Philippines, and of course to start doing our share to help to have a sustainable world. So we want to integrate climate change in the culture of work, in the culture of the accounting industry, and these are just the basic like high level information that I wanted to share. And I think as mentioned by Ms. Meljory, so for the PICPA organization, the members, for me, I believe that the best that can do carbon accounting are the accountants itself. I mean, in other countries, the accountants now became a GHG accounting specialist, because of their skills in terms of the details of this information. Technology are just there to guide in terms of like accounting systems that we have. But at least I've shared the concept. This might be something that you can maybe look into, maybe add it to your career. And yeah, who knows, in the next 3 years, everyone will, require sustainability report. So like example, in our company, we outsource the accountants for our monthly financial statements, our audit, everything, we outsource it, right? We pay consultants to do that. But eventually in the future, in the next 3 years, we also pay someone to do our sustainability report. Before now, it's just a specialized field, but eventually it will not be a specialized field. And then the best, I think, for me, my opinion is, accountants are the best, to do this. Yeah, I think this ends my presentation, and I think I will not go through any technical. But in terms of the company, Comunidad was able to scale using technology through, of course, we didn't, we came from Bicol region, from Legazpi, Albay, so we are not really from Manila, and but we didn't see it as a challenge, especially now in the global scenery. Regardless of where you set up your business, it doesn't even matter anymore. As long as you have a product that is fit for a problem, for a specific problem, we see that technology can really guide you all the way. But I think for me, businesses should always have this, social impact and doing good for our society. Yeah, I think that's it. We're happy that we are funded now by the global organizations, and our company is growing. And yeah, I think that's just it. If you have questions, just let me know later on. I'll be in the panel session. Thank you.
Ako ay si Felix Sibeda Buchong. Aking trabaho ay ang pagsasaka. Sa pulong ako ay nagkaedad ng 14, ako ay tumutulong na sa aking magulang sa pagsasaka. Ang aking naging inspirasyon ng aking mga kapatid na papag-aral sa pamamagitan ko ng pagsasaka.
Karamihan dito sa farmers sa Batangas, ang unang problema ay yung mahal ng cost o yung mga gastusin para sa production.
Marami palay, wala namang bumili ng bigas. Hindi kami makapagbenta, mahal ang input.
So I started approaching people who could work together with me, who might share this same mission. From there, Mayani was born. Each of them bringing a certain expertise so that the vision of Mayani to uplift the lives of our thousands of small farmers can happen.
Yung simula ng aming organisasyon ng Mayani ay tulungan yung isang samahan dito sa Kanlurang, Batangas upang mapaganda ang presyo nitong gulay ng samahan. May programang sinusunod para pag-harvest maganda lahat ang presyo.
We use technology to make communications easier and to make instant communications between consumers and the farmers.
We check the quality, the weight again once it comes here from Batangas. We sort it, we put it in the bayong, and then we call our courier partners, and then we distribute it to different households and corporate customers.
We also looked at commercial accounts. These are cafes, restaurants who wanted to support local farmers by directly sourcing from them.
Difficult, yes, but can be done. We feel that the Mayani founding team is in a position to make this happen. We have a mission to uplift the lives of our farmers.
We will organize our farmers and form this community.
The technology is ready. The platform is up.
We will handle marketing and logistics.
Fresh produce delivered to your doorsteps, to your restaurants, and to your homes.
Mayani, from farms to tables.
Good morning. I think we lost our host, Mel. So I'll just go ahead and introduce myself. Ako si Jeff Barreiro, founder of Mayani, an agri-tech startup based here in the Philippines. I'm honored and very happy to be here this morning. So thank you, PICPA, for inviting me and for this opportunity to talk to you about Mayani. Nakita niyo po kanina sa video si Felix Butyong at nakita niyo rin kanina si Mang Ben. Mga magsasaka sila mula sa Lian, Batangas. So I had a chance to speak with the two of them when we were starting Mayani in 2019. So nakaupo kami, nagkwentuhan kami ng konti. I was able to ask them, so Ka Felix, Mang Ben, ano po ba ang pinakamaganda sa pagiging magsasaka? Pero flip side, can you tell me also ano po ba ang pinakamahirap? Si Felix, who incidentally by now is probably almost 70 years old, maybe 68 or 69. Kasi 2019 pa yun nung nag-face-to-face kami. Sabi niya, natural sa kanya ang lupa, soil. And he cannot imagine doing anything else. He loves what he does. Now it was Mang Ben who offered a glimpse of the other side, the difficult side, on what pains him as a farmer, as a Filipino farmer. At alam nyo, 2019 pa nga yun yung aming kwentuhan, pero even now, very visual sa akin yung itsura niya nung sinagot niya yung tanong na yun. So sabi ni Mang Ben, ang hindi namin maintindihan, pagkatapos ng lahat, so he was referring to farming, all the work that went into it. Pagkatapos ng lahat, kapag bentahan na, ganun lang. Kapag bentahan na, ganun lang. So for him, the process of determining the price of his harvest seemed arbitrary. But sadly, they are not, until these days, they're usually not in a position to ask for more. So, ang tanong ni Mang Ben, which is the same as the question we had as founders of Mayani, bakit ganon? Why do things have to be this way? Why do our farmers, the people who actually supply our needs for nourishment, for nutrition, they remain poor? And I say remain because as far as I can remember, I have this picture in my head of our Filipino farmers being poor. And in fact, I knew, I had an inkling, and I think many of us have an inkling, that our farmers really are that. They are poor. But if you do a little bit of research, very basic research on the state of Philippine agriculture, you will find that indeed our food supply is powered by them, by smallholder farmers. You will see that from government agency numbers that not only are farmers poor, but farmers and fisherfolk are poorest of the poor. Pinakadukha sa mga rango ng dukha. And not only are they poor or poorest of the poor, but they are getting old. Average age of 57, 59 years old. And their children, they don't want to get into agriculture. They don't want to be farmers. And I guess we all know why. You know, the back-breaking work, but then at the end, there is little profit or even zero profit. So talo, net loss. I even came across a study from UP Los Baños. This was a study on rice farmers and their families. this time, not only were the children not interested to take up farming, but their parents themselves, who are the farmers, do not want their children to become farmers. Same reason. Lugi, talo, masakit sa katawan, mahirap. So again, bakit ganon, di ba? Bakit ganon? Dapat ba ganon? So kami sa Mayani, we started to dream. Nanaginip kami. In our view, the elements in these modern times are already there to disrupt the sector. Andiyan na ang mga telco, internet, cellphones, may mga third-party logistics providers, enough to create meaningful change in the agriculture and food supply sector. So that's what we started to do. We started to simplify, starting with this community in Batangas that you saw earlier in the video. We started to gather some people who would help us. Ito po, sa aming board of advisors, si Ginoong Sito Lorenzo. Some of you might be familiar with him. His family was responsible for making Del Monte a global giant in agriculture and food. No? Isa siya sa mga advisors namin sa Mayani. In one of our early calls, so because of his extensive experience in agriculture, in Del Monte, and also as Secretary of Agriculture, ang dami niyang kwento, ang daming problema. So he didn't really say, are you crazy? You know? Pero parang sinasabi niya, Jeff, this is a complex problem you're tackling. And ang dami siya talagang kwento about farmers, about cooperatives, about how hard it is to teach them new techniques of farming, how hard it is for their produce to reach market, how many levels of middlemen are there. I think at some point when he was telling us there's just so many problems, he paused and said, parang nag-brighten yung eyes niya, but also the opportunities. And so, inumpisahan na nga namin. This is the greenhouse of the group of Felix and Ben, where they were planting organically grown lettuce. So, kasama yung mga co-founders ko, well, some of them would drive to Lian, Batangas, siguro mga 3 a.m. so that they can be there 5 a.m., get the fresh produce, and we would sell it before in Viber or sa Facebook. And then we gathered them. Here you can see, that's actually the basement parking of a building. So nakihiram lang kami, walang bayad kasi kukunti pa naman ang mga sasakyan. Basement naman, it's early in the morning. And then after all that hard work in the morning, and the team would gather in the mini stop, ganun, very, very bootstrapping. Until eventually www.mayani.ph went live, and our official foray into e-commerce was born. So, which was significant because that's when we really started to gather data, to gain direct insights from our customers, etc., etc. And then, of course, we all know lockdown happened, di ba? March 15. 2020. Suddenly, we could not move. This was a typical scene everywhere in the city. A lot of us here are from the city, from Metro Manila or from other cities. What we probably did not realize was in the countryside, ganito rin. Puro lockdown, puro checkpoint, you cannot go out. So, on the farmer side, hindi rin nila mailabas yung kanilang mga harvest. So our co-founder, si Chief Farmer, si Ochi, really had to get in. Dala-dala yung sasakyan, gumawa kami, nag-print kami ng stickers, food supply. And then we had to really argue our way through the checkpoints saying that we have to bring food to the city. Marami na pong nangyari mula ng lockdown days na yan. So if I fast forward ko na lang po. aside from selling in mayani.ph, we did a lot of campaigns to move more produce. Isa lang po itong halimbawa na nakikita nyo. We received a call for help because our farmers from Camarines Norte, who planted Formosa pineapples, considered a very sweet, one of the sweetest varieties of pineapple, were finding it hard to bring their produce down to Metro Manila. Hindi nila maibaba. So we heard about it until we mounted a campaign, and then we eventually served about 5.5 metric tons from the Camarines Norte farmers. Enough for it to be noticed by their local TV patrol. Fast forward then, sa dami po ng produce na dumadaan na sa Mayani, hindi na po kami kasya doon sa basement parking or we also rented a garage, literally a garage. Kapag bumabagyo po ay tumutulo ang tubig. Eventually, we're very thankful because Xavier School in San Juan helped out. They had us use their gym because we were literally moving mountains of produce. We were able to form our own pool of riders, yung mga nagmomotorsiklo na yan. We were able to hire out of school youths or some nanays, some moms within the community. So they became our packers, our dispatchers, etc., etc. So konting fast forward pa rin, napakarami pong nangyari, mga halimbawa lang po ito. We joined incubators and accelerators and global competitions, and we ended up victorious. For example, the ADB, the Asian Development Bank Hackathon, was a global competition. So madami, Europe, Africa, Asia, and Mayani emerged as champion in their Digital Against COVID Hackathon in 2020. Several other competitions where what we were doing was gaining attention. And then we eventually landed funding. Among them, a large venture capitalist based in the US, one of the largest and most active who is involved in agriculture and food called AgFunder. So at present, we actually already finished a funding round, and our funders come from several countries. In fact, 7 bansa po yata ito, all backing what we are doing in Mayani. Even our customer base grew. We have both B2C, we have both and B2B. We are powering the food supply of some of the largest food brands or restaurant brands, supermarkets, as well as retail in Mayani.ph. So ito po ang estado namin yun. In fact, this slide is a little bit old. You know? There was a time, I think 2021, when after securing funding from a big VC based in Silicon Valley in the US, us founders, we were able to gather together. Kami po ito. Bihira po na magkasama-sama kami kasi kanya-kanyang hustle. And we were still in a pandemic, so we were not working together in one office. So okay, we decided, okay, celebrate tayo ng konti. Job well done. But it also was an opportunity for me personally to reconnect with my co-founders, and I was asking them, so guys, 1, why are we doing this? 2, when do we say job is done? So may kanya-kanya po silang mga sagot. Hindi ko na po i-share, hahaba po tayo. But one thing emerged in their individual replies. Very important to each one of us is staying connected to our purpose. I don't know if Mel, our host, is back here. About a week or 2 ago, so catch up kami about preparing for this event. And then catch up din kami, what's the latest in work, what's the latest in Mayani. It was a small detail, but we agreed that through changes or through challenges, when there is clarity of purpose, when there is clarity of mission, then the job doesn't become easier, but the decision making becomes easier because our decision making will be guided. Totoo naman po, job well done, maaari for that point in time, but the job is not yet done. Marami pa pong pwedeng gawin. Marami pa kaming gustong gawin sa agriculture, sa Philippines setting. For example, we need more data science, and we are sorely looking for greater tech adoption by our farmers. Meron po kaming binuo na farmers dashboard. It's a tool for our farmers so that simply using their mobile phone, sabihin lang nila kung ano yung kanilang tinanim, kailan nila i-harvest, at ilan kilo. So it's a simple tool, but can you imagine going to farms outside the city, telling a 50-year-old farmer, oh, Mang Ben, pakigamit mo to at input mo dyan. We make it as easy as we can, but it is not easy for our farmers to adopt tech. Pero meron na po, nag-umpisa na. So these are some of the things we want to do. A farmer's dashboard, a demand-driven supply wherein we tell them what the market is looking for using data. Instead of us ending up with tons and tons of tomatoes that end up being thrown on the roadside. For business owners, we're coming up with a B2B channel to make it easier for them to place orders for fresh produce using an app. That's all in the works. We want product traceability. Gusto po namin malaman later on, matitrace namin sinong farmer or kaninong co-op nang galing ito. Some of the other things we want to do, we want to contribute in the circular economy. Reduction of food loss is very important. We also have a category in Mayani.ph called imperfect crops. So marami pong ganyan, maliliit na patatas, deformed na ginger, or deformed na carrots. Still the same product, it just doesn't look so nice, but we also buy those from the farmers. We sell those. So towards the end, nung lahat tayo po ay nanonood ng mga webinar, meron po ako na-attend na webinar where the chairman of Ayala Corporation was the one speaking. This line from Mr. Zobel de Ayala really caught my attention. Maganda eh. Sabi niya, if we all succeed together, then we can all rebuild together. My hope is that we will have a renewed sense of shared prosperity and collaboration as a new mantra for all of us. Totoo naman, di ba? It is true and quite evident the pandemic truly exposed gaps in many economic activities, leaving many sectors vulnerable. But at the same time, I truly think that the opportunities that have opened up are not purely business ideas, but opportunities to address gaps. So, sana po ganon, di ba? Na ang mga negosyante, mga entrepreneur, malaki man o maliit, will approach it this way. Let us solve problems. Let's address gaps. Let's make economic progress more inclusive. And who knows, if the idea is big enough, let's think big. Why not? We were listening to Felix earlier of Comunidad. He is not just in the Philippines. His solution is for the whole world. So these keywords are really quite attention-grabbing, shared prosperity, collaboration as a new mantra. Yan na po sana yung components of our new normal. In business, it doesn't have to be all profit, right? I win, others lose. Sabi nga po ni Pope Francis, prosperity is only prosperity if it embraces everyone. Meron po akong final na kwento. May papakilala po ulit ako sa inyo na isa pang magsasaka. Si Andrew from Tarlac. So different. Hindi siya tulad ni Felix at ni Ben na senior citizens na. Andrew is young. He's not even 30. He's 20 plus. He comes from a group of IP, indigenous people, farmers from Tarlac nga, no? Bata pa siya, but he was the one who organized the IP farmers in his town. So they live in the mountains. At some point last year, I think it was April 2021, a call for help reached us, the Mayani team, na sana daw may bumili ng harvest nila ng kamote at gabi. So we decided again to mount a campaign, Viber, Facebook, mayani.ph. And then we ended up getting more than 4 tons of their product, their produce, kamote and gabi. Nagulat si Andrew. Sabi niya, gusto kong sumama dun sa delivery. So sumama siya dun sa truck. Nagtataka siya, sino ba tong Mayani at bumili ng more than 4 tons when they asked for help. So I met him, and as they were preparing, unloading the kamote and gabi, so nakapagkwentuhan din kami ni Andrew. Sabi ko sa kanya, Andrew, kwento mo nga paano ba yung buhay mo as farmer? So kinuwento niya, sabi niya, okay, medyo sa elevated portions kami, so we harvest in the mountains, and then we gather our harvest, just like you see in this photo, in sacks, tas kalabaw. Mababa sila ng bundok, kalabaw. So a few of his fellow farmers would go down the mountain to the nearest trading post in the nearest town. Sabi ni Andrew, Sir, alam mo, pababa pa lang ng bundok, alam na namin na pababa na rin ang halaga ng kanilang ibebenta. That was very striking for me. I mean, imagine it. Imagine it if you're the farmer. How can you be encouraged to continue what you're doing when bringing your produce to market, pababa ka pa lang na bundok, you have this sinking feeling that the value of your produce is also sinking. And so true enough, when they reach a trading post, they are at the mercy of the buyer. Not that because the buyer is a bad person, but because that was the economics of it. And then another detail na kinuwento niya, I didn't expect. So they head back to their farms, to the mountains, to their families. When they reach home, they do not fully own the money that they receive. They have to pay for their loans first. That was kind of a heartbreaking story to hear from Andrew. Pero para naman di kami malungkot ng pareho. Tinanong ko rin naman siya, Andrew, compare mo yung pagbili namin sa Mayani dun sa experience mo, normal experience mo. So sinagot niya, sabi niya, Sir, binili niyo po ng higit sa doble ng dati naming pagbenta. So nakakatuwa. In my head, I was thinking, hindi naman pala imposible. It's possible. They get the price they deserve, and we get to sell it at prices acceptable in the market. So I didn't feel like, pwede palang kalahati. No, joke lang, ano? Pwede pala. So my question was the same as the question of Mang Ben. Bakit ganon? How come we were able to do it? And really, hindi ba dapat ganon? Hindi ba dapat? So this is hopefully the new normal. But there's a lot of work to be done. And maybe later we can share some ideas as we go along this morning. So that's all I have for you. Thank you again for allowing us to share. Thank you very much. Have a good morning.
Ma'am Marjorie, excuse po, you do not have an audio.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Much better, ma'am. Loud and clear.
All right, so I'll be using another gadget for the voice. All right. So again, thank you so much, Felix and Jeff, for that very insightful and inspiring presentation. Allow me to still formally introduce Mr. Jeff Barreiro. So Jeff is a founder and executive chairman of multi-awarded Philippine startup Mayani. Mayani is considered the fastest growing agri-tech startup in the country, leading the way in innovations designed to introduce critical enhancement in agri-food supply chain. The mission is to make it data-driven, optimized for efficiency, and most notably, able to provide fair and broad market access to our smallholder farmers. Jeff is an entrepreneur at heart. From his young days of operating a stall in Green Hills, Christmas Change, to starting a company called Promo Central Incorporated, which has expanded into Indonesia and Singapore. In between were other ventures which to this day exist, all put up with his wife as his business partner. He is a BS Economics graduate from the University of the Philippines School of Economics. Apart from being entrepreneur, he and his wife Joy are actively involved in EduChild Foundation, which provides case study-based workshops for new parents and for single people navigating their adult journey. Fellow Acasians, friends and guests, let's give our guest speakers a round virtual of applause. I know a lot of our participants are interested to know more about Comunidad and Mayani. Let's invite again Felix and Jeff to join our virtual stage as we move on to our roundtable discussion. To our dear participants, please type in your questions in our Q&A box. Again, thank you, Felix and Jeff, for being with us today. Thanks for sharing about your companies, the objectives, and how they operate. To start, we would like to know when you officially started and what were the challenges that you've encountered when you were starting. Let's start with Jeff.
Thank you, Mel. We started May 15, 2019, selling to friends and family. We were officially incorporated October of 2019. Some of the challenges, it was not lockdown yet. Remember, it was 2019, so it was a bit of a challenge to change the buying behavior of people because it's fresh produce. Diba? Normally, you go to the market, you go to the supermarket. So to introduce a new way of purchasing fresh was one of our early challenges.
Thank you, Jeff. Let's hear from Felix.
Yeah, I think for me, well, I started as a consultant. Actually, I didn't have any company. So I think my challenge was I was working as an employee of a environmental intelligence firm. So my challenge was, I know I can sell first. I believe in myself. I'm very confident that I can, take this over. But I didn't have any company. So I used my company's friends. Actually, I was selling to BPO companies, as a consultant, and then I used my friend's company. And then later on, I know the basics of, like business, accounting. So I think for me, yeah, that was a challenge. But since my motivation was really high, so I just nag-dive lang ako doon kahit alam ko na hindi ko alam. And yeah, now it resulted into a very good. But yeah, the challenge really is mostly for me is mostly on the admin side. My clients are conglomerates, but I didn't have a company, but they like my product. That was my challenge, but I have to start it. And yeah, I think it can be done. As I mentioned by Jeff, I also have some friends that helped me along the way, guided me. I always listen to the ones who are much, kumbaga known doon sa mga ganong klaseng issues. But yeah, so but my goal before was how can I, like stop working as an employee and switch to business. So it was just like a few years ago where I decided to really stop working. So pinagsabay ko siya technically, which is I think sa iba masama, but I think for me I had a goal. But yeah, yun yung challenge ko. Transitioning from that, it was very hard. It was very hard. You have to do a lot of sacrifices.
Yes. That's why I told earlier, the purpose and passion, no, dapat nandun talaga siya. Otherwise, challenges are so big that if you don't have that clear passion and purpose, medyo mahirap talaga. All right. So, we are excited to hear what do you consider now as your company's greatest achievement so far? Sige, si Sir Felix.
Oh yeah, I think for us, well, we are very happy because as a Filipino like homegrown company, also we also consider ourselves like Bicolano homegrown company. We're able to scale on a global level. I think most of the companies in the Philippines are not familiar with Comunidad. So in a way, we didn't really we started our vision globally. We didn't say that, hey, it's like from Bicol to global, not really Bicol to Metro Manila to global. So we feel that our company could be global kaagad. So we did it. So I think I'm very happy for two things actually. First is we were able to have clients in India, Vietnam, Cambodia, in many parts of the world using Filipino technology, right? Second is we are powered by the students of Rizal Tech University and UP, and now they are our employees. So they were able to during the college pa lang sila, they were helping me. These young minds, were able to power the system. So I'm very happy that we have a good culture too, and yeah, that's what I'm proud about. I'm proud about our expansion and then also the culture of our team. We don't have that much issues within the workspace. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, good to hear that. Yes, Sir Jeff?
Well, like I indicated earlier in the presentation, the issues, the problems, the challenges in Philippine agriculture are huge and complex and plenty. But I think we can consider as some of our wins the serious traction that Mayani has gotten. When I say traction, meaning people are now buying online and buying from Mayani. People are purposeful in buying. They want it local. They want it from farmers. They want the farmers paid right. We have gotten traction in the commercial sector. We are in the largest supermarkets supplying their fresh produce. Just very recently, we have been onboarding large chains, food chains, as part of Mayani clients, gaining traction in terms of who our backers are. So we started with the Asian Institute of Management, Dado Banatao Incubator. We got support from the Asian Development Bank. We got, and now we're venture backed. So there is strong support. And when I say venture backed, you're talking about large venture capital firms outside the country and inside the country. So they see value in what we're doing. And I think we could take it even further. So yan po ang mga recent wins namin.
Wow, congratulations. And I'm also a proud client of Mayani. I ordered several times. I don't have issues, and I'm happy that I'm helping the farmers in that way.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah. And for Mayani, the pandemic brought a lot of not so good things to many. How did the pandemic push and help your business grow during the pandemic?
Well, the pandemic really was the trigger for hyper growth for Miami. Yung lockdown na pinakita ko kanina, March 15, it was kind of crazy for us, and it was very difficult to manage because suddenly people who knew about us told other people, and we were swamped with orders. So we really grew. It was hyper growth phase. It was difficult because we had to have more produce coming in during lockdown, during checkpoints. We had to form sorting teams, riders, etc. But the pandemic really was the trigger. And kung iisipin mo, even on the funding side, on the support from investors, dati siguro we would have to fly to California, to Silicon Valley, or to Singapore, etc. But now we were being contacted by these investors, and we were having meetings online. So in that sense, it really hastened our growth. Siguro si Felix medyo ganun din ang kwento.
Yes, Sir Felix, you want to add?
Oh yeah. I think I know the pandemic was like really bad for other business, but for us that was actually a highlight moment in terms of the company. So we got funded actually during the pandemic. So the good thing about that is you don't have to travel. You just have Zoom calls, and someone will give you $1 million only for Zoom calls. Yeah, even hindi pa nila kayo nami-meet, di ba? Like, so that fast. Kasi I think maybe it's not something kasi our businesses kasi like with Jeff and us, it's more long term kasi, and then the benefit now we are looking at is you consider maybe 5 years from now, people will be adapting these solutions. So when you think about those kinds of business, you are not limited to the current situation as long as you have those fundamentals, right? Like example, you have revenue, you have a strong team. The funding will come itself if you are able to really articulate how your business solves the problem. So I think the one secret is also your communications with partners, with investors. So you really have to also your integrity, right? So you really have to show to them that these are the things. So for us, during the pandemic, we are able to scale during the pandemic, close more projects during the pandemic, because even without pandemic or not, our business about climate change, we're really it's there every time, So it's like agriculture. These are the basic things in life that we need to do. So yeah, we were the lucky ones, I think, during the pandemic.
Yes, thank you. And Felix, in addition to that, in your recent article in LinkedIn, you mentioned you can't prepare what you don't measure. So how will Comunidad help us prepare and achieve zero casualty?
Okay, so yeah, there are two things actually. In the resilience side, of course, we want to achieve zero casualty, right? On the mitigation side, we want to achieve net zero, right? So it's like everything all zero, like it's all mostly reduction. But since technology is existing now, just like accounting, it needs data and numbers, right? So we need first to measure what are we dealing with. Example, perfect case is Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. If you are Luzon, mostly in the north, rural areas, landslides, these are the problems, right? Earthquakes, landslides. But if you are in Legazpi, it's a coastal community. Your problem mostly like storm surges, typhoons. If you are in Mindanao, there's not much typhoon going on. So you have different risk contexts. So you need to know what are you dealing with, but you have to measure that first. And then data is very helpful to analyze those problems. And then when you also do reduction of carbon for climate change mitigation, you also need to know where you go, So our concept is you really need first to know, to declare properly in order for you to decide. So we are, we want to have a data-driven approach through math, science, those types of decision making. Hindi na yung parang, okay lang, sanay naman ako sa typhoon, nandito lang. So, pag nag-rescue tayo, sige, pag baha, saka tayo pupunta. Pero ngayon, kinakalculate na kung saan maganda pumunta pag bumaha dito, saan maganda mag-evacuate, at saan manggagaling yung mga rescuers. Kasi nga, meron na tayong mga data. So, yeah, I think that is our purpose, to help further strengthen that kind of mentality.
Mm-hmm. And I noted earlier, you equated carbon accounting to financial accounting.
Yeah. Yun actually yung I have a friend, dati siyang accountant, pero ngayon siya, GHG emission analyst, and yung mga companies, they pay him actually overpriced. Actually, sabi ko sa kanya, masyado ka namang overpriced. Well, kasi maraming companies ngayon na kailangan, ang hirap hanapin. So magkataon, dati siyang accountant, tas nag-study lang siya. I think he took courses 6 months sa mga sustainability, tas nagpa-certify siya. Take siyang online courses, and now parang they're paying him millions of pesos para lang mag-create ng mga studies. But yeah, I told him like, swerte mo naman, di ba? Like, so yun, kaya present ko yung kanina na it can be maybe like, a side job or something, but it's good to have, as an accountant, to have that kind of expertise too.
Wow. So it's another career opportunity for us accountants. All right, that's very good to hear. So we'll entertain questions from our attendees. So we have one from Miss Ophelia Mangali. With the poor services of telcos, which causes poor connectivities in internet, how can we address efficiently and effectively the need for sustainable business through technology? So maybe this is related to your general experience.
I think I can answer that. I think so it's always really, the infrastructure is really a challenge in terms of how to do business using technology, especially in the Philippines, where pag bagyo, brownout, I came from Bicol. Sa Bicol, palaging brownout kasi may power problem, may internet problem pa, may power problem pa, may utility problem pa. So how can you be resilient to those kinds of things? So I think the government is now improving the infrastructure, and marami na rin tayong alternatives. Example, SpaceX example, if my SpaceX tayo in the future, 5,000 yata a month. Pero ang current VSAT kasi ngayon, when you pay 12,000 a month yung subscription, pinakamaliit pa 50 Mbps lang. I think SpaceX is lessening it to just 5,000 pesos and mas maganda. So example lang, these are just the some alternatives, di ba? And then I think nag-i-improve naman dahil marami ng telco players. Siguro may mga cases lang talaga na madi-disrupt. Pero I don't believe na hindi tayo papaatras. I think in the next 2 years, si Philippines na rin is magiging sa connectivity.
All right. Jeff, your thoughts on it?
I just agree with Felix. Very critical ang telco and farm to market roads. But things are happening. I saw some friends from PLDT sharing the news that they are really going out there. Nasa Nueva Ecija sila ngayon. They're really setting up connectivity. And connectivity is really very important in terms of us reaching the farmers.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And another question from Farah Nicasio. In this fast-changing world, is it worth it to invest on latest technology, investing millions, only for it to become irrelevant after a few years? And how can small businesses catch up with it, and employees as applicants, especially those from rural areas, to become competitive with their urban counterparts? Yes, Joe.
No, you're right. The person who asked that question is right. Well, startup kami pareho ni Felix. So sanay kami sa bootstrapping. There's really no need to adopt the latest technology. Nakwento ko nga kanina nung una kaming nagbenta ng gulay sa Facebook tsaka sa Viber lang. And then when we had our own website, we didn't build it from the ground. We used an existing technology, Shopify. So, and really, you just take the technology that you need at that moment. So I think that's the advice I can give. Tsaka nabanggit din pala niya doon sa question niya yung paano yung advantages ng nasa cities, etc. I think the mindset there is, what are my advantages being here where I am, where there is fresh tomatoes or where there is local weave, etc. And then I use technology, so digital platforms, e-commerce, to bring these unique products or these fresh products to market. So may advantage ang nasa labas ng syudad.
I think to add that also, like on our side, so since here's the thing. So if you are dealing with competition, right, you need someone to beat. Like let's say maybe and I'm not saying like the generations, like with an older generation, something like that. If you want to beat them, you need to use technology, right? Because alam mo na yun yung advantage mo. So you have to use that in order for you to beat someone sa competition. You have to be good at it, and it's a cheaper way also to So example, as mentioned, I came from Bicol. I started sa Bicol region. Wala naman kami doon na it's not even popular or like parang unknown. Even yung school namin, like unknown from all of these standards sa Metro Manila, right? So, but one thing wala sila is we studied technology, we studied lahat, and we used them against them. So now, natatalo na namin sila sa mga bidding, tenders, and so on. Pero we didn't really care, right? I mean, it's like the location doesn't even matter. But one thing also, it really depends on you or what business you want. Example, if you want a restaurant, it's not even technology business, right? But that's your passion, right? You want to cook, and then let's say you have something unique to offer. But you can just use the technology for sales and marketing. For let's say you can use social media, you can use a different marketing approach using technology. So it doesn't really need to be a technology business. Even for example, for me, maybe I can breed pigeons or something, like I want to sell it online, something like that. It's not even technology, right? But I can use technology to sell many pigeons. I mean that's the whole concept. I can maybe create a or maybe dog dating site if I want to breed dogs or something. So there's a lot of ways you can deal with technology. My point is you can use technology as your ally and something to be on top of that competition where you are.
Yeah, very well said, Felix. And we have another question from Narcissus Chavez. I think both of you can share your thoughts on this. BSP is giving banks 3 years to adopt sustainable finance initiative as part of efforts to green the banking sector. Kindly share your best practices on how to develop these initiatives and for us to be able to integrate them to our operations. Yes, Jeff?
Okay. Ang unang ginawa namin sa Mayani, which is the most urgent need of the farmers, is access to market. So, yung harvest nila, may market na ngayon. Ang pangalawa nilang pangangailangan is access to credit, to financing. So, with that question, we've already started building a digital product meant to address this need of the farmers. So, yung pinoint out niya na BSP requiring banks, actually meron ng existing law, di ba, yung Agri-Agro law, wherein they should devote a portion of their loan portfolio to the agricultural sector. Marami pang kailangan gawin. For example, kagagaling lang ng mga co-founders ko last week sa Zambales, because we also deal with a group of IP farmers there in Zambales. It's a large co-op, ITAS from Zambales, about almost 200 families. So that's a lot of farmers, that's a lot of people. Doon sa buong organisasyon na yun, sa community na yun, iisa lang ang merong government ID. Iisa lang, yung leader ng co-op. So imagine if we can begin the process of capturing their identification in a digital manner and then providing them their need for financing for agriculture inputs in a digital manner, mabilis, in a fair manner, dahil hindi tulad ng mga informal lenders na napakataas na interest, then that already starts off the process. So, yun na nga, hindi siya simple, pero maaaring umpisahan. You can even start with this small community in Zambales. So, there are efforts already underway. And once they become established, then I think the impact will become more felt.
For me, I think on my experience on my side, when I was just starting the business, napakahirap talaga kumuha ng funding sa government. I'm just being honest. Kumbaga, there are programs, but ang daming qualifications. Even sa banks, like example, kumbaga, like you're an employee, but you feel that your idea is gonna work really, like Kaso ang status ko sa ang ITR ko ang baba. Kunwari, ako that time ganun yung nangyari. Wala nagpapautang sa akin, di ba? Wala nagpapautang sa akin. Wala akong ma-finance pero may idea ako. So, I have to do it on another way. Sabi nga ni Jeff, mahilig kami sa bootstrapping. Bootstrapping is one of the talents that you have to achieve. So, you have to kumaga. So, when we were growing, nakita din namin yung mga opportunities sa government. Pero eto lang, if you want to be part of that, medyo slow lang yung magiging pacing ng business mo. Pero it can be done. Pero if you want to have fast, you need to find alternative. Pwede mo naman i-mix Kunwari, may nakuha ka sa government na financing na let's say 2 million, pero may mga VCs na willing pala sa'yo magbigay ng 20 million kaagad the next day. Pero it's up to you kung gusto mo ba magbigay ng equity or gusto mo ba utang siya or something. So, depende na rin yun sa appetite mo as a person kung saan. Pero yun nga, how do you want it badly? Depende na yun sa'yo. If next day, maybe like, di ba, you wanna trade your soul ba for this investment? It's up to you, di ba? So, but dealing with government, it takes really long. Mga opportunities, hindi ka makaka-scale kaagad, but you can do it. That's for me, my experience. Walang nagpautang sa akin na banks, walang nagpa-finance sa akin na government, pero nag-apply ako for 1 year. So that's my case. So I resulted to different, like sa global ako pumili. Sabi ayaw sa akin ng Philippines, sa global kaya ako maghanap ng funding. Kaya nalaman namin na mas mabilis pala. Di ba, Sir Jeff? Mas mabilis pag global yung kausap.
Kita niyo po si Felix nga nahirapan umutang. Paano pa kaya ang magsasaka?
Oh, yeah. So, that's true. That's very true. And sabi ni Jeff, yung mga ibang nagpapautang ngayon na mga, wow, sikat. Ang taas ng interest. Halos doble yung interest for 1 year. Para akala mo lang, di ba? Akala mo, pero, di ba, in long term, lugi ka talaga.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I think that is something that should be improved dito sa sa country natin, no? Especially for the people with great minds, great ideas, they need support para materialize yung mga ideas nila. Right. Another question for you, Jeff. Can Mayani forecast where agriculture sector is heading after 6 years, given that the current administration are passionate in upgrading our agriculture sector?
Wow, forecast? Pang manghuhula yata. No, but seriously, absolutely cannot forecast, but I can share with you our optimism on the things that are happening in, at least in agri-tech. We have models in India and Indonesia that have worked. So we are closely watching what is happening there, also in Africa. And indeed, there is renewed focus, sobrang focus ngayon ng business and government sa agriculture. Maybe because the pandemic really opened our eyes to the danger of or to the need for food security. So there is intense focus on the sector. So very optimistic kami. I think from now on, we can expect strides more than tiny steps. We have catching up to do. We are now a laggard in Southeast Asia. But, for example, I mentioned earlier in my presentation, AgFunder, the large VC from the US, all-out support sila ngayon. Sinasabi nila, Mayani, We're backing you. Go be amazing. Do what you need to do in the Philippines and go out of the country if you have to. I mean, expand outside if you have to, which we will probably do. Idol namin si Felix nasa labas na lang.
Yes, go global.
Yes, true.
All right, another follow-up question for you, Jeff, from Armando Laico. After listening the story of Mayani, which is very inspiring, where do you think is the supposed role of the government, whether technology or agri support?
Well, we have government agencies that are supposed to be supporting agriculture. So you have DA, you have DAR, even the OST. They really are in a position to do a lot of good. Siguro, there should be a established manner of working with the private sector. And, happily, to some extent, this is something that Mayani has done. We are working closely with DTI, surprisingly. So, for example, DTI Region 2, we are closely in touch with the farmers of Region 2, helping them move their produce, helping them be connected with processors, etc. Tapos ang DA, they have ATI, Agricultural Training Institute. It's a partnership approach really achieves a lot more. So government is in a position to do a lot. If we partner with them, then I think we can do even more.
All right, thank you for that, Chef. And let's move on to a question for Felix. The ozone layer had already a big hole affecting terribly global economy. Is this a cause of climate change that affect food production and loss of people's life? This is a question from Manolo Tan.
Yeah, so well, actually, it's very tricky to answer that because some believe that climate change affects those, but some doesn't really believe that theory, right? So in a way, there's still ongoing debate on that. But we all know the effects of climate change. Ito naman yung totoo, that we all know that the effects of kahit sabihin natin hindi siya what I mean is the effect will affect maraming areas. It can affect livelihood, water production, food production. Alam naman na that it will affect almost everything. So yeah, it's the projections for ito yung projections nila in the span of until 2050. So if we don't act now, so magkakaroon ng I think around 3 up to 5 degrees I think increase in temperature. So yung typical na 32 degrees natin magiging parang Dubai na, something like that. So pero if we did our part sa reduction, magbabawas lang yun mga around something like 2 degrees or 1 point something degrees. So may mga estimates naman na binibigay. I think our Climate Change Commission gave that updated report 2 weeks ago na dapat ito yung target natin. Ganito lang dapat yung increase. And then yung effect naman nun is of course hindi naman natin masasabi pa, 'di ba? Kasi na ano naman natin. But definitely it has an effect to the ozone layer. And then definitely it has an effect to the Philippines. Pero ito nga, yung sabi ko kanina sa presentation, bakit tayo sa Philippines? Isa tayo sa pinaka-less na nagko-contribute ng emissions. Kahit di tayo mag-ingat, okay lang yon. Wala tayo masyado. 0.3 lang sa buong mundo. Di ba? Hindi tayo nagko-contribute sa sa mga ganyan. Pero tayo naman ang nagsasuffer. So, very weird nga yung sitwasyon. Kaya may tinatawag silang climate justice. Dapat tayo bayaran ng mga countries. Kasi tayo ang nagsasuffer. Kaya ang daming funding ngayon ng government na kinukuha. Bayaran nyo kami, bigyan nyo kami ng project kasi kami ang nauuna dito na nadadamage. So yun na yung mga products. Yung Climate Change Commission are now looking for climate funds, tawag na climate financing, just to answer to that point na tayo ang nagsasuffer. Bigyan nyo kami ng pera sa Philippines. Kasama na doon yung agriculture, food production, water. Meron kasi like, we have an event on November, ito yung Adapt Asia. So, what if pala wala ng water production dun sa city, walang water utility? Ano yung pwede mong gawin? Para pwede mong inumin yung sewage, yung nasa water. Sa India, they convert sewage water to clean water. So, ito na yung mga, merong solutions na ang naglilinis ng water is mga uod, mga earthworms. So ito yung mga nature-based solutions without any emissions. So ang daming ways to survive, kumbaga. And yeah, but sinasabi nila, wag na tayong pupunta sa ganun na mangyari na yung uod yung naglilinis ng tubig, di ba?
Oo nga. So we have to do our part habang
Yeah.
may panahon pa.
Even we are not the contributor, we have to be responsible. Yun yung sinasabi nila.
Yes. And to our attendees, let's do our part. Ayan. Let's be responsible citizen of this earth. Ayan. So may question dito from Chris Agustin. Is there a model to a sustainable business?
Okay, I think
Yes, Kate.
in terms of sustainable business, so well, maybe in the context of sustainable, like magsusurvive ka for financing, or sustainable ba na like you're considering climate, environment, and something. I think I can answer both ways. So if you think about sustainable, you really need to have a good cash flow. Before you think about the business, you know, when you're starting, you really have to have a good cash flow. As a startup, you know, pag-iisipan mo kung saan ka kukuha, paano mo masusustain. And of course, masusustain mo yun through maraming sales, syempre. That's the number one fundamental, right? Marami kang sales, masusustain mo siya. Second naman is sustainable business in terms of considering climate, environment, and governance. So sa ngayon, meron na tayong mga frameworks. Paano ka ba magiging sustainable on that part? Pero yun kasi marami pang debate dahil sa ibang companies gastos lang yun eh. Parang kumbaga kasi sa ngayon wala pa naman siyang direct effect. Kunwari ako sa company, nag-comply ako sa sustainability reporting. Gagastos lang ako eh, di ba? Hindi man required pa sa akin. So doon sa area na yun sa sustainability and social governance, medyo very broad pa yung topic. Wala pa kasi masyadong regulatory. But yeah, yun lang yung that's my opinion.
Yes. Jack?
Okay then, very practical yung mga sinabi ni Felix. But I'd ask myself, if I were starting a business, is there a real need for this? Can I add value? Will this need exist forever? For example, we will always need food. So kami sa Mayani. So what value added can Mayani bring? So as long as there is continuous value added, I think the business will continue to be sustainable. It also makes sense to include processes. Well, kayong mga accountant, sanay kayo dyan, processes. So this minimizes how critical specific people are when there are processes. So it helps in sustaining somebody's business.
All right. Thank you, Jeff and Felix. I think we can close in this last question, which I can also share something as a CPA. So the question is from Lailani Abelia. How can a CPA or business adapt to the fast-changing phases of technology? So yeah, let's have Felix.
Yeah, I think you first yung world now, you really have to be open-minded. Kumbaga, you really have to forget kung ano yung nakasanayan mo. Let's say, example, ako taga-probinsya, hindi naman talaga ako techie, ay mahilig ako sa outdoor. Pero when I run the business, I have to learn a lot of things. Marami ng tools ngayon. Example, yung dating Photoshop, Canva na ngayon. Sa Canva pala, mas mabilis. And mas mura pa. And then maraming tools na ngayon. So I have to open myself to that. Even hindi ko naman siya, di ba? Like, I think you have to be open-minded. And for the sake of business to be efficient, you really have to consider the evolution of technology. And yung data-driven decision din, I think we have to develop. Because hindi na to dahil nasa puso mo lang na you feel it. But when you're doing a global business, you really have to consider a lot of information. So very openness to culture, openness to, let's say, ako mga employees ko puro Gen Z. Minsan nagti-team building kami, puro nagti-TikTok, di ba? Pero pag sa ibang business, bakit yung nagti-TikTok, di ba? Like, nasa beach tayo, di ba? I mean, you also have to consider the culture ng mga new generation ngayon. And you really have to be open-minded in many things. Marami na ngayon, when you go global, bawal na magsabi na babae ka ba, lalaki ka ba? So meron na tayong yung gender identity, iba rin na issue. So I mean, it's getting really crazier, and through technology and culture ngayon, I think you really have to just be open and join the wave of changes, and evaluate what's best for your business, what technology to use, what culture you are fit to, and I think you'll do good. And you don't have to fight it. You don't have to fight the evolution of the world na nangyayari ngayon.
Yes. Thank you, Felix. Jeff, your thoughts on this, please?
Felix, siguro meron TikTok account si Felix.
Wala akong TikTok, pero well, most of my, like, I don't know, 40% of my palagi nagti-TikTok eh. So
That's fantastic take-off point to answer the question. May mantra rin kami sa Mayani eh. Maximize your evolution. Really, it's an openness to evolving. As to the specific question, how can a CPA utilize the tools? That's exactly it. These technological advances, they are tools. So they are tools to make one better, to make one faster, etc. But I don't think it will replace the intelligence and creativity of the human mind. So the human person will remain relevant, and we have tools to make us better. So I think having such an approach to all the advances, etc., having this openness that Felix mentioned, that's step one. Tapos yung step two na lang dyan is actually learning these new advances.
Yeah, it's like I just to add. So it's like yung mga lawyers, diba? Lawyers are very fixed talaga dun sa the style they do the work, diba? So it's a legal thing, diba? Pero ngayon marami na rin na technologies na ginagamit yung mga legal. Like even when they review the documents, may mga AI na rin silang ginagamit. Ngayon sa ibang bansa, hindi na nila kailangan yung assistant nila kasi may AI silang ginagamit to assess the cases. So I think for CPAs din, kasi we all know like engineering, di ba? CPA, mga ganun. So we have rules to follow, di ba? But sometimes we need to be open to maybe break those rules a bit, not illegally, but for the sake of changes, right? Parang yung mga ginawa ng Grab, Uber, di ba? Wala naman silang permit sa LTFRB, di ba? Even yung ginagawa ngayon ng mga financial apps natin, di ba? Dati wala namang BSP regulations eh. Pero someone hopped into that disruption, di ba? So I think as a CPA, you can also, I think, ito na yung ginagawa nila Marvin sa Beppo. I think they are also, our investors are also their investors too. So dinidisrupt nila the way freelancers work. It's the minds of the CPA na inisip nila na bakit yung mga freelancers, o nga naman hirap na hirap yung mga freelancers mag-comply. Diba? So they made these tools, diba, for freelancers. So yun, I mean, what I'm saying is, yung open-mindedness nga and evolution, kailangan mo talagang kalimutan muna yung fundamentals and twist the fundamentals for the betterness of, of your field. Parang ganun. Not illegally.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Jeff and Felix. So as accountants, we are now moving from a labor-intensive role to a digitally and technologically supported function. What does it mean to us? We need to be ready and be able to adapt to changes in the expectation to our role, our business operating model, and technologies available to us. Ayan. Again, thank you very much, Jeff and Felix, for being with us today. And I now turn you over back to our MC, Lods.
That was a very interesting discussion. Thank you very much, Ms. Meljory, and of course, Mr. Felix, and Mr. Jeff. Let us all give them another big round of virtual applause. And now, may I call on the members of the Summit Committee to present our flag of appreciation to our distinguished panelist and moderator. With distinct honor, I am pleased to present the plaque of appreciation to Mr. Felix Aike and Mr. Jeff Barriero. The citation reads, Philippine Institute of Certified Public Accountants, Commerce and Industry Sector, in collaboration with Association of Certified Public Accountants in Commerce and Industry, ACPASI, Metro Manila Geographical Area Office, Metro Manila Region Committee on SME SMPs, Committee on Professional Development, presents this plaque of appreciation to Felix Aike, CEO and founder, Comunidad, for his invaluable contribution as resource speaker on the topic Sustainable Business Through Technology during the PICPA Nationwide Business and Career Summit, given this 28th day of September 2022 at the PICPA Building, Shaw Boulevard, Mandaluyong City. Signed by Dr. Erwin Vincent G. Alcala, President, PICPA. Lolita P. Tang, Vice President for Commerce and Industry, PICPA. Arceli A. Rodriguez, Secretarial Director for Commerce and Industry, PICPA. And Maria Teodoro Josepat C. Martinez Jr., President, ACPASI.
Thank you for the certificate, and I'm happy to participate, and I hope I was able to share some of my thoughts and my maybe unique opinions siguro. But yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We also have the same citation and plaque for Mr. Jeff Barriero.
Thank you everyone at PICPA. Appreciate this, and I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you, sir. Let me also read the citation for, of course, our moderator, Ms. Meljory Atensa Cruz. Plaque of appreciation to Ms. Meljory Atienza Cruz for being our moderator for today's discussion. Thank you, Ms. Mel.
Thank you.
Mel. May I request all the personalities in the panel room to open their camera for a photo opportunity with our distinguished guest speakers. Thank you.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, smile. One more. 1, 2, 3, smile. Thank you po.
Wow, thank you.
Thank you.
And that wraps up our first session for today. Before leaving the room, please do not forget to accomplish the post-test and post-evaluation survey that will be posted in the chat box. As announced earlier, you must accomplish this for you to earn a certificate of attendance. Before we end this morning session, we would like again to acknowledge our partners in this summit. Co-presenter, PICPA Metro Manila Geographical Office, PICPA Metro Manila Region, Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, Owishi, oh wow, Liwayway Marketing, Our gold sponsors, BOPI Manufacturing Corporation, East West Bank, One Tax. Our silver sponsors, AB Squared Institute of Accounting Philippines, Boys and Paint Philippines Inc., Court Meridian Hotel and Suites, Subic Bay, Clio International Marketing Corporation, Nutritive Snacks Foods Corporation, Progressive Poultry Supply Corporation, QNE Software Philippines, Sea Bass Carriers Inc., TOA Global, and our bronze sponsors, Asian Institute of Taxation, Harvest Agribusiness Corporation, Strategic Dimension Co. We would like to remind everyone that there is a career fair corner in the WUVA platform where you can visit job postings and job offerings with our sponsors. All the video presentation in this summit can be accessed within 3 months period from the date of publication here at WUVA platform. So you can watch it over and over again using the link we provided in joining this summit. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us in the PICPA Nationwide Business and Career Summit. This is a 5-day event with 2 sessions per day. The second session will start later at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We will start broadcasting at 1:30 p.m. Hope to see you later. So again, a big thank you to all our guest speakers, moderator, program participants, secretariat, and of course, to our participants. This is Carlota de Gula Remedio. See you later, 2 p.m. Thank you. Enjoy lunch.
Quick to adapt, we pivoted on a pinhead with agility and resilience. We thrived in the face of adversity, dug deep, converted obstacles into opportunities, and emerged with an invigorated mindset and a new resolve. And, as we've always done throughout our history as a profession, we harnessed that resilient spirit and passed it on to members, students, employers, global economies, and society as a whole. Out of disruption and chaos, we did what we always do. We led. We were influential advocates for COVID-19 relief and economic recovery across the globe, becoming the go-to resource for news, tools, guidance, and learning. We rolled out the CGMA Finance Leadership Program globally, a new online pathway to the CGMA designation, and launched remote testing of CIMA qualification exams for the first time. And we introduced new learning resources and tools on data analytics, digital strategy, and managing risk, shifting all CPD events to virtual platforms to prepare members to be future ready. We also ramped up our support for environmental, social, and governance reporting, and assurance and risk mitigation, central issues to the profession's future role. On the jobs front, we posted nearly 1.3 million positions in the US, the UK, Europe, Asia, and Africa on the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants Global Career Hub. And as always, we kept our focus on advancing diversity, equity, and inclusion in the profession. We've brought confidence to individuals, organizations, and the world's financial systems. Our foresight and preparation help transform our organization and the profession during this crisis. Change won't ever stop, but we can ride the momentum of this moment and create trust, opportunity, and prosperity in new, innovative ways. We were ready, we adapted, and we will continue to thrive.
Yan ang pangangasim. Ang kiliti sa panga mula sa crunchy asim ng Oishi Cracklings.
Asim! Sarap!
Pangangasim Oishi Cracklings. If symptoms persist, bili na sa sukang tindahan.
Paano maging hot? Mag-spicy Oishi prawn crackers. Just feel it, flex it, and fire it up. Ba't ka mahihiya when you're hot? Spicy Oishi prawn crackers. Itodo ang hotness.
Nilamon ng kakanood magdamag, lumamon ng Oishi Crispy Patata. Nalamunin mo sa sarap. May something.
Some transactions, like big cash deposits, can't be done online or through the ATM, so you really need to go to the bank. In these cases, you need to be in and out as fast as you can. Introducing EasyWay, East West's expanded transaction channel, the faster way to process your transactions even before you get to the bank. Here's how. Before leaving your home for any of these transactions, simply contact us via SMS, Viber, Messenger, or email. Indicate the kind of transaction and include the necessary information. You'll receive a unique transaction reference number once confirmed. Your transaction will be ready when you get there. Simply show the transaction reference number or give your account number to the teller. You're in and out in no time, so you can spend more time for the things you want and need to do. For faster, easier transactions at any of our stores, there's an easy way.
Narito ang ilang common challenges sa pag-generate ng financial reports manually. Sa OneTax Plus, di mo na kailangang problemahin ang mga ito. Sa Plus, mas madaling i-manage at i-view ang reports dahil sa mga filter na available sa platform. Maaari mo ring i-export o i-download ang reports sa iba't ibang format. At pwede mo ring i-drill down ang total at i-reclass ang mga transaction. Narito ang pwede mo pang ma-experience sa paggamit ng OneTax Plus. Ito naman ang mga financial report na pwede mong i-generate sa platform. Easy lang, di ba? Pag in-automate ang financial reports sa OneTax Plus. Sign up na at plus.one.tax.
Hey, look up. Mark your calendars this December. The solution that lets you work anytime, anywhere, while being compliant with the Bureau. But here's the best part. It has optical character recognition. Be online all the time, whenever and wherever you like. Experience Cloud9 with Q&E Cloud Accounting.
Harvest Agribusiness Corporation was established in 1997, then as a distributor of high-quality hybrid seeds. From there, the various difficulties and challenges faced by the Filipino farmer were revealed to us, pushing our development of various products for each one. Today, our catalog of solutions include quality seeds for better productivity, agri-plastics for soil and seedling health, sustainable crop nutrition and protection inputs, climate-resilient greenhouse and irrigation systems, labor-efficient machines like tractors and drones, and many more. With 8 branches and over 100 dealers and partners throughout the Philippines, we bring these products to Filipino farmers nationwide.
What started as an institutional forum among a small group of professional accountants in 1973, the Association of Certified Public Accountants in Commerce and Industry, or ACPAC, has now turned out to be one of the respective organizations contributing to the growth of the accountancy profession in the country. Composed of CFOs, comptrollers, finance officers, chief accountants, internal auditors, and officers and staff in finance and other departments of top private corporations, ACPAC remains to be the biggest and premier organization of CPAs in commerce and industry sector, primarily serving the professional development needs of its members, as well as advancing the relevance, value, and ascendancy of the accountancy profession in order to continue to be an indispensable ally of the government in nation building. Through the years, ACPAC continues to seek and pursue effective ways of advancing and upgrading the professional development of professional accountants in the commerce and industry sector through seminars, training, discussions, research, and dynamic exchange of knowledge among its members. ACPAC assists its members in addressing common problems in accounting, information system, business finance, administration, and management, and help them render sound, effective business decisions. ACPAC promotes high professionalism and adherence to established ethical standards in the performance of services and responsibilities. ACPAC creates for its members an environment of learning, social relevance, and fellowship.
Accountancy has been acknowledged as the driver of all economic enterprises and accountants, the recognized guardians of business and industry. Where there is money, commerce, business, and financial transactions, there is the practice of accountancy. Any fully functional business, say a posh hospital, a humble school, an expansive construction empire, will all have one thing in common: an accountant at their service. That makes us at PICPA the all-important flowing oil that grease all the gears of the economy of our country. We are PICPA, the Philippine Institute of Certified Public Accountants.